listening to LOA Recon with the Good Vibe coach Jeanette Ma, where we dissect the ins and outs and the art and science of conscious creation, all intended to amp up your manifesting game. Let's have some fun together. So, guess what's happening right now? A couple of things, actually. One, I got 2 puppies who are having a sleepover at a friend's house, so it's just me and Sadie home alone tonight with all the kitties. I'm enjoying it already. And another thing, I just realized my intention for fabulous hair has manifested. I went to a new stylist today, and that used to make me really nervous. And I was getting slightly nervous, but I was like, use your powers, Jeanette. Use your magic. And I wasn't sure, like right when she was done, I wasn't like entirely sure. But by the time I drove home and looked in the mirror, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling it. This is what I wanted. So I'm feeling the wind there. Hey, I want to say thanks to Amber for the inspiration for this episode, not for the topic, but just for recording another episode, because she sent me a super sweet email. And she was talking about how much she looks forward to new episodes. And I thought, I don't publish nearly enough episodes for people who really enjoy these. So after reading her note, I said, that's it. I'm going to go record one. So here we are. Thank you, Amber. So what's been on my mind lately is, I don't know what to call this episode. I hope I come up with a proper title for it. But I've been wondering whether this has ever happened to you, like where you wanted to manifest something in particular and it came to fruition, but you dismissed it as like you didn't think of it, you didn't give yourself credit for creating it, because as you look at what had to happen in order for it to manifest, you realize, that was already in the works before you ever put any of your magical powers on it. Like, when you want a cash windfall and the next day there's a check in the mail that you weren't expecting, but you have trouble giving yourself credit for manifesting it because you're thinking, well, obviously that check already had to be like in the mail before I even had the thought of how nice it would be to have some surprise money. So you write it off as like, how you forgot, your silly self forgot that of course you were supposed to get that refund from the overpaid mortgage insurance or that payout from your retirement plan from your old job from 20 years ago, or you get a surprise raise at work and they decide to award it to you retroactively, even though they've never done that in the entire history of your time on the job or whatever it is. I know some of you dismiss that as thinking, well, I didn't actually conjure that, because you think, well, it would have happened anyway. It was already in the works before I activated my magic, so I didn't really create that. It was going to unfold anyway. Sometimes you think that, but guess what? That's not what's happening. You know what? I did this recently myself when I was thinking, I'll tell you the story. Those of you who occasionally read my Facebook posts, or if you're at GVU, you read this in the forums. But I had ordered something from Amazon that I really wanted, and I wanted it to arrive as soon as possible. It was a supplement that I was running low on, and I realized, I'm either going to have to ration or I'm going to have to go without. And I was like, I really like taking this. I don't want to run out. Anyway, so I ordered it on Amazon because my local health food stores don't carry it. And not even the ones that aren't local, they don't carry it either. I've driven a long ways to stores. They don't carry it. So ordered it on Amazon. Before I went to bed, I ordered it on Amazon. And when I woke up, there it was, sitting on my doorstep. Okay, some of you might not be impressed with that story, but I don't live in a metropolis. Drones are not delivering packages to my door. And it's not like I was sleeping it wasn't an 18-hour nap. In fact, you know what? This happened to me twice this month. I took pictures of it. I couldn't even believe it. I was like, am I hallucinating about when I placed this order? So I looked it up, and I even took a picture of the package when it arrived because it was tripping me out. And then it happened again, like, I don't know, a week and a half later. This time it was for the cats. Wait, what was it? Was it something? I think it was cat food or something. Oh yeah, it was dry kitten food. I was out of dry kitten food. And everyone in the house likes all the kitten food better. So it wasn't just the kittens who were missing that. Everyone's eating the kitten food. Anyway, we were out and I really wanted it because, cats. Anyway, I ordered it before I went to bed and I was just thinking, Jeanette, you're telling the story too long, but I think of how many emails I get from people saying, Jeanette, you don't have to have every episode be 10 minutes. You can talk longer. So I'm going to try not to rush myself, but still, this isn't an important story. Other than it was crazy cool because I ordered it at night, I went to sleep, and it was there the next morning. That's crazy. Okay, that's so crazy. It was so crazy. And I did it again. I was like, wait a minute, when did I order this? And I looked at the time, and and there's Amazon still saying that it's still out for delivery, except I'm holding it in my hands. Okay, it tripped me out, and I was like, what is happening here? Like, is universe, the buffer of time getting even shorter? It blew my mind. It blew my mind the first time. It blew my mind the second time because it kind of seemed like I was transcending the rules of business or physics or something. I literally didn't understand how it could physically make its way to me that quickly. But that's not how this system works. My manifestations and your manifestations, they're not subject to the limits of time and space as we have been trained to believe in them. Think of it this way. We're going to get on our multiple worlds theory hats on and remember how everything that could happen is happening. All of it. It's all happening. And it's all happening now. So it's all available for us to choose from, to experience. There are no limits. There are no rules other than that we can only experience what we're the vibration of. So whatever vibration we're flowing, that's which version we experience. So when I'm willing to be the vibration of what I want, I get to have that. Even if it means that we're breaking some old thinking rules of time and space. Checks that had to be mailed before I even said, wouldn't it be nice to have some extra money this month? And all that supportive material, all the key players, all of that orients around my current vibration. And we could go backwards in time to support what I'm vibrating right now. So with those Amazon packages, which isn't something I was actually like consciously trying to manifest faster. It's not like I said, well, I mean, I did have a thought like it'd be nice if this showed up faster, but you know what usually happens where I live? Everything takes like a day later. I am not convenient, especially in the winter time. Anyway, I was really wanting the stuff though. I was really wanting it. Not like in a desperate, not like, oh, I'm so mad I waited so long. Not like that. But apparently I was in a good enough vibrational space to where I could align with the version of reality where it was all here right fast. Not right now, but right fast anyway. I mean, that was right fast. That was while I slept fast. It kind of reminds me of that time. I know I've mentioned this before in previous episodes. Remember that time I was going on a dog walk and it was super, super windy? And I was mad at myself because I forgot to bring a hair tie, and it kind of ruins a walk when your hair's blowing all around. You can't even see where you're going. Anyway, I didn't have a hair tie in the car. I didn't have one in my purse. I didn't have one in jacket pockets. I didn't have one in jeans pockets. There was no hair tie anywhere. Not in the glove box, not in the console, nowhere. No hair ties. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to go do this walk with no hair tie. And I was kind of mad about it. But I was like, wait, I'm way too powerful to do it that way. This was many years ago. And I just decided there's going to be a hair tie. I'm going to have a hair tie. So I felt one into my reality. I just felt one, what it felt like to see one, to find one, to have one. And you know how this would normally manifest? Like, you know how when you walk through a parking lot, you see hair ties everywhere? You'd think that, but no, universe didn't do that. So I felt it into my reality. And then my arm was resting on the console. And I just opened it up, and I'm telling you, I know this sounds crazy, and I'm telling you people, I do not do drugs, but a hair tie materialized right in front of my very eyes. I was reminded of the story because someone wrote me and told me how, in fact, I got to hear it on the phone even, how she had heard my hair tie story, and she was at home one night, and she really needed some cranberry sauce. And there was no cranberry sauce in the house. I don't know if she needed it for a recipe or what, but she had her mind set on some cranberry sauce, but there was none, except she did that same trick where she manifested the cranberry sauce into her cupboards. And that happened. Okay, so I don't know if I finished telling you like how while I was looking, it was like on Star Trek, the thing materialized right in front of me. Like I could see it come to fruition. I know that sounds crazy. I totally know it does. And remember that time that I was home alone and I was craving some chocolate and there was none in the house, and that is a very unusual situation for me because I normally am well stocked for chocolate, but there was none. And I didn't feel like driving to go get any, and I didn't feel like calling a friend to bring me some over. So I thought, no chocolate. I don't want to go anywhere and I don't want to call anyone over. So I just decided to manifest it. So I felt chocolate into my world. I just felt how cool it would be, how satisfying, how enjoyable to have some really rich, delicious chocolate right here and now. And so I like clicked into that vibration. I let that roll for, I don't know, probably wasn't even a full minute. And I could feel I got there, and then I let it go. And then I was like, what next? And I thought, just clean up a couple things around the house. And so I walked into the kitchen to clear off the counter, and my mom had given me this tin. It was an empty tin. She thought maybe I might want to use it for something. I didn't know what I was going to do with it. So it had been sitting on my counter for a couple weeks. And I went to go put it away instead of leaving it on the counter. And, it was heavy. It was heavier than it would have been as if it were empty, which it was when she gave it to me. It was empty when she gave it to me, but when I picked it up on that night, it was full of chocolate. And when I had told her the story about it, it turns out she had gotten it from a neighbor and she did not give it to me with chocolate in it. Anyway, my point being, and remember the time when this was recently. I'm going to tone down my excitement. But remember when I thought Merlin disappeared? Well, he did disappear. I wasn't wrong about that. But in reality, I don't know how you can even say reality when this stuff is like, how do you wrap your mind around this stuff? What's real? Anyway, there was the version of reality where Merlin was gone, forever gone. And then the version where he was there the whole time, like in the house the whole time. And the version where he was somewhere else. I don't know where he was. There was every possible version. But I wanted the version where he was with me now. And I picked that one well enough that I got to experience that in a physical way. There he appeared on the back deck. And skeptics would say, I know what they would say. They'd be like, seriously, that girl, how crazy is she? She thinks she manifested her lost cat back? She just lost track of her cat. He wandered away for a little while and came back. She's making a big deal about it. Well, I am making a big deal about it because I know I could have easily experienced the version where I never saw him again. I know that because that's what happened with my other cat. Anyway, I haven't actually thought about maybe doing that magic on him, but this stuff, it might sound like, to some skeptics, to some muggles, it sounds like we've just lost our minds and we're giving ourselves credit that we don't deserve. But we know that this isn't even magic. We know this is the technology that we were all born with. Some of us just use it better than others. Here's why I'm talking about this with you today. Okay, I just thought of another example. Recently, that time that my car was making that bad sound, it was a bad sound. It wasn't subtle. It was not subtle, and it was sudden, and it was not a good sound. And I wasn't that far from home when it started making it, so I didn't have to drive too far with it. But when I got home, I was like, okay, next, I got to drive straight to a mechanic after this. I talked with a couple of people, a couple friends and my dad about what it might be. I Googled it even. And everyone had an idea. None of them were easy ideas. Nothing was an easy fix. Although the internet, someone said, it could just be power steering fluid, but it wasn't that. I checked. It wasn't that. So here I'm thinking I got something bad going on. But I didn't have time for car problems in these string of days. I was driving animal. I was either like going to a shelter or going to a vet. I had a bunch of animal stuff going on. I was meeting up with a friend. I didn't want to cancel that. I just didn't really have time to see a mechanic. So I intended it was just going to be fine because I didn't really have joy for dealing with it. I knew better than to intend that the sound just went away, because I figured, look, if that sound is a symptom of something that needs attention, then it should keep making that sound, because I don't want to just trick myself into thinking my car doesn't need to get looked at if it does. So I didn't just wish the sound away. I just decided that it was going to be fine. Like, look, if it's a belt or if it's a pump, whatever it is, some way, somehow, this is going to be fine. Either the mechanic's going to somehow suddenly magically be in my driveway before I need to leave and fix this for me, even though I never called them and they don't do house calls. Or, I don't know, maybe it's a problem that can wait. I don't know. I just know for sure what I know is that it's fine. I know that much. And guess what happened? I didn't hear the sound again. It's been a couple weeks and it's totally fine. So some people I know would think, well, either it wasn't a serious thing with her car, or it's just temporarily resolved, or she was just imagining it before, or it fixed itself, who knows. But I imagine that what really happened here, what I believe, was that I just jumped from one version of reality that included a car problem into another version of reality that had no car problems, because both versions exist and both are available for me to choose from. And it doesn't require the intervention of a mechanic for me to choose what I prefer. Although when I choose to go that route, that's fine too. No one's opposed to visiting the mechanic now and again when it's convenient. Ooh, you know what? I just thought of another one. Remember again, this was recent, when I was thinking, it's like we're getting close to paddleboard season. And I was thinking, you got to get in paddleboard shape. Remember? I was thinking I should have some arm strength for putting my board on my car, and just in general, like if you're going to get in a bikini again, let's get in paddleboard shape. And I thought that, like, it was, I want to say nighttime. There's something magic happening for me at night, huh? It was nighttime when I was thinking about that. And the next morning I woke up and it was like my body was completely transformed. I shouldn't say completely, but severely, strongly transformed. It was not like this the day before. I was pretty sure. I was like, what did I think anything needed to change? This is amazing. And that should have taken weeks to, and in fact, I was doing the calendar math and I was like, you got a couple months, plenty of time. No, overnight. And something like that, you'd think that should have been noticeable. Like, you would think, how can that happen that fast? But there it was, happening overnight while I slept. Just the way those Amazon packages showed up while I slept. It's just, we know how this is working. We know how this is working. There are a bunch of versions of me, some that are paddleboard ready and some that are not. And I just got plugged into one of the ones that was. That's all. How cool is this? You know what? This is why we can retro manifest for something that seems to be already done. Like something that you think is already done and decided. Like maybe you took the test and you're waiting to find out the results, or you already got the voicemail message on your phone that you haven't listened to yet, and you think like, well, this is already, it's already in place. There's no room to play with it. It's already done. But the thing, it might not seem like it is. Okay, what I'm trying to say here is, sometimes we think we don't have any manifesting wiggle room on these things because they're already done. Except we do, because it is done. It's done in every possible way you could conjure, though. And then some more ways after that, because you're not a very good imaginer. Most of us aren't, unless you're taking our latest course with us at Good Vibe University, where we're stretching our imaginations. But there's not just one result waiting for you to discover it. There's every result available to you. You just get the one that you're in vibrational alignment with. So you can take a minute to align to what you want before you open the envelope from the IRS or from the bank, or before you listen to the voicemail from that sweetie that you hope is saying what you want to hear, or whatever it might be. So even after I take the test, or even after he already sent the email and I just haven't read it yet, or shoot, you know what? If you're really good at this, you can pick a different version even after you read the test results and after you listen to the voicemail, because time isn't the constraint we thought it was. It really is ours to play with. How cool is that? Have you read Lynn McTaggart's Intention Experiment? It's mind-blowing how they've already proven this in labs. Like, this is already known by science, not just woo-woo manifestors. They've done it a variety of ways. One of my favorite ones is the way they get they program the computer to print out the test results, like in a 50-50 pattern of zeros and ones. So it's an equal distribution of zeros and ones. And then they ask their study volunteers to intend to alter the results that are already in. And they do the thing that's already done. They change it. It's seriously mind-blowing. Okay, here's why I'm talking about this. Because I think we don't give ourselves a big enough playground. I think we're believing in rules that don't really apply. And when we understand how the system truly works, we give ourselves a lot more freedom to play. But my big point is this. This is where I started off with this episode. Yes, you get credit for manifesting it. When you question your results or you have a skeptic in your life who tries to dismiss your creation skills, know that you definitely created it. I know it without a doubt because we're creating everything. There are no exceptions. There's nothing we don't get credit for, good, bad, and ugly. Even or especially those things that seem crazy cool magic. It's all you, my friend. So I say we have some fun with it. Thanks for listening. Hope you got some inspiration from this episode. We'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.